Today I'm going to make the luscious, decadent strawberry delights. And the ingredients needed for this recipe are strawberries. And because strawberries are not in season right now, you can buy the frozen sliced strawberries with sugar, which it has juice in it. And I'm making a big one, so need 2 things of cream cheese and 2 things of sweetened condensed milk. And you see I have 5, so I have 5, and then of course the Cool Whip. And the Cool Whip will go in part of the custard, and then I leave 1 container to cover the top, which of course will be this one. You need a bowl to mix it all in, and you need your mixer. And so now I'm going to begin. Great. Now I have my 2 blocks of cream cheese in the bowl, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip them up until they're nice and smooth. And I will come back after I complete that. Now I have whipped the cream cheese until it's fluffy, and it's easier to incorporate the condensed sweet milk. So there it is, my 2 cans. They're already open and ready for me to drizzle in as I whip it together on low speed, which is very important. And I will do 1 can at a time, and like I said, I will drizzle it in and blend it until it's nice and smooth, and I will be back after that. I just wanted to come back real quick and to say that make sure that you work with a rubber spatula to scrape down the sides, but also to push across the bottom to make sure that there's no cream cheese down there and that it's blended. And now I'm going to go ahead and blend in the 2nd can of condensed sweetened milk, and I will return. Alright, so as you can see, it is all nice and smooth. The condensed milk and the cream cheese have been blended together, and now we're ready to fold in the Cool Whip. And I'm going to use 1 full container and 2/3 of the other, so I can have enough left over to cover the top of the Strawberry Delight once it's assembled. And of course, you know, I have the 1 container, large container over here. And normally I don't make them this big, but when I take them to gatherings, I do. And it is a delicious dessert. And I have to say that the first time I had this dessert was at my neighbor's house. And it took all I could do to not to go to that lady's house and bang on her door for some more. I mean, that's how yummy it was to me. And it has been a hit to all the things I have taken it to. And it doesn't take a lot of work, but the key thing is to assemble it the night before so that it can set up, and then of course it doesn't last. So I will begin to fold in the whipped topping, and I will return. And I just wanted to show you what I mean about folding in the whipped topping. I don't want to flatten it down, but I just want to fold it in. And the whipped topping is at room temperature in the sense that it's not frozen, and you want to be able to manipulate it. So you don't want it to be frozen. You want it to easily blend in. In this non-cooked custard that I'm making right now, a lot of people use it to make banana pudding. I actually don't use this formula to make my banana pudding, but I know a lot of people do, and it makes a tasty banana pudding. I actually use pudding when I make mine, and not the sweetened condensed milk, but either way, it's delicious. In this non-cooked custard, you can take and use it to assemble many types of trifles, they call it, where you layer a mixture like this and cake and fruit, and it would be really good. The key is to assemble it ahead of time to allow it to set up. Okay, back to work. So now I am ready to assemble, and as you see, I have uncovered my strawberries, and I've stirred them, and they are thawed. And that's very important because those things are usually rock solid. So I actually left mine out for a while before I went to bed last night. So they had definitely thawed because my refrigerator would hold them. And sometimes I still find a little ice crystals in there. And I didn't want that. And as you see, I got my pound cakes unboxed and uncovered. And now I'm going to cut them up in cubes. This is my pan. And it's a good size pan. And my goal is not to make it really deep. I find that sometimes when you make a smaller dish and you make it really deep, people don't do right. But a few layers in here and everybody will be satisfied and it will be delicious. So I'm going to cut up a pound cake so you can see how the size I use when I chop up my pound cake into cubes. I will return. So here's my pound cake cut up into cubes, and I'm going to take and sprinkle and this is so awkward for me. Maybe by the next video I will have a tripod. But you get the gist. They don't have to be close together because by the time you finish layering it up, there will be pound cake through and through in each good morsel that a person gets. So it looks like one of these will do justice for the bottom. So I will return, and all I'm going to do is just drizzle over some other strawberries, and I will show you that. I have drizzled over some of the strawberries, and it is not important that the strawberries get on each piece of pound cake. This is a compilation, and as with any great compilation, when it all comes together, believe me, fabulous. So now I'm about ready to add my next layer of custard. Then I'll put cake and then strawberries, and then I will continue till it comes up to the rim, and then I will cover it with the plain Cool Whip. But I will show you the ensemble prior to being covered with the whip topping. I just want to show you, this was my third layer, and I actually used 1 2/3 a pound cake to cover that layer and to make that layer really, really good. On the bottom you can cheat a little bit and use one. So I did 2 layers where I only used 1 pound cake each, and this one I used 1 2/3. And I'm going to put my last layer of custard over that, and then I'm going to cover with the whip topping. And I know I said that I will show you before I cover it, but you get the gist. And then I will show you how I prep it for the fridge. And oh, you see those little lovely leftovers? Yes, I will have my own little personal pan. Because when I tell you this is good, this is really good. And I don't think they're going to let me walk out the door with it if there's any leftovers. Here she is, that fabulous, luscious strawberry delight. And of course the pan is not gorgeous because of course I don't want to bring it back home. But the dessert, it's fabulous. And as you see, I put some toothpicks in it, and I'm just going to put 2 sheets of saran wrap over it. Not real tight. And I'm going to put it in the refrigerator so that it can set up and be ready for our dinner tomorrow. And I learned this recipe from one of my neighbors, just watching. I learned a long time ago from my grandmother that Big Mama did not like a lot of questions when she was cooking. You could ask her afterwards, but you had to be silent. And so I'm a visual learner, and I just would watch her cook, and she let me stay in the kitchen. Now some of my other relatives, they had to get the boot because they wanted to ask questions in the process. And I'm sort of that way. You know, make mental notes and ask me afterwards. But this dessert is delicious, and coming out with this big pan and my little personal pan, this dish cost me $33, and it's going to feed a good mob. So happy making the strawberry delights, and enjoy. And remember, you cannot make the pan for yourself and keep it at home, though you may want to, but please share. Happy cooking!